Welcome back, everybody. You're joining us for the British Kart Championships Event 7. We're back at scorching Whilton Mill today, right in the heart of the Northamptonshire countryside. This venue really does pose some stunning views across the county. The track is located right by the M1 and the A5, making it one of the most accessible tracks here in the UK. It's 1,200 metres long with 12 turns and 26 feet in elevation, established here in 1991. Offering everything from fast-flowing sequences to heavy braking zones. Starting with Oblivion, which is turn 1, this takes you through a sweeping left turn and into Crook. The drivers will then approach Fine Lady, leading them on the run up to Christmas Corner, the gift that just keeps giving. They'll then be flat out through Inkermans, but it doesn't last long before a harsh break and right turn through Ashby. Here they will thread themselves through these two left-handers, Wilkins and Oziers, and along the back straight, which leads us on to, last but not least, the boot sequence, which has recently had some new improvements made to its heel here on the inside of the last chicane. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, that is the lap of the track here at Whilton Mill. The question is, who will be the first over this line?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Whilton Mill for coverage of Event 7 of this year's Wera Tools Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. My name is Andrew Mather. Keogh Lynch alongside me once again. We're getting into the meat of the season now. It's the second time that we've been to this circuit this year. This time, the turn of the Rotax drivers. Racing gets underway at 9 o'clock this morning. Lots to talk about today. We will see an inaugural E10 Cadet Cup champion crowned today. Could it be Ansel Murray? Could he do it in the heats? We'll have to wait and see on that one. It's also the first round that counts towards the E-plate. This is effectively a mini championship for all of the Rotax categories at the end of the season. The racing here, the racing at Silverstone, that's what will determine who takes the English champion plate across all of those categories for 2026. And there's grand finals tickets up for grabs as well. Before we get into the classes though, let's learn a little bit more with the man with the history. It's time for history with Henry Baudet as he tells us a little bit of the story of Whilton Mill.
The first mention of Whilton Mill was actually in the Domesday Book, which was compiled in 1086. Some 500 years later, the Whilton Mill was actually built. The mill is still here. But it wasn't until 1991 that Roger and Sarah Ashby broke ground on what was to become Whilton Mill Go-karting and Leisure, a multi-purpose leisure facility which, in about the first 10 years after rental karting became a thing, was the first of a new generation of kart circuit here in the UK, a world away from the airfields and tyre straw bales that we were used to. No sooner had Whilton Mill arrived, Butmore Park had its regeneration. PF International was built, and then Daytona Milton Keynes. It was clear that by the end of the 1990s, the corporate dollar had arrived in our sport. Whilton Mill is actually one of, if not the most significant kart circuit in the entire UK. Why? Well, a central location helps, but it's more to do with what Whilton Mill has and can host in terms of karting. Now, when it was built, it was an outdoor buggy circuit, driving on dirt. But as the corporate karting world demanded more circuits, faster circuits, more power, then the first initial international circuit layout, 900 metres, as well as the Bambino training circuit, which in those days was effectively for kids' birthday parties. The circuit was extended again in the mid-2000s to its current iteration, but the most significant change of all happened just a couple of years ago when the last couple of corners were changed. That changed allowed the circuit to become FIA graded. So Whilton Mill can host every single type of karting on the Motorsport UK karting pathway, from arrive and drive, kids' birthday parties, leisure and rental karting, to owner-driver practice and racing, every national touring series, and of course, the British Kart Championship. And with the FIA grading, it can host FIA level karting events like it does in 2026. So it is down to the fact that Whilton Mill can and does host everything that makes it such a significant part of the British karting firmament. Since 1991, the sport of karting has changed irrevocably. Now, corporate people, businesses, sponsors, and all the major race teams are catered for in many ways. Back in 1991, before Whilton Mill came into being, the only food or drink you could get at a kart circuit was, well, maybe a burger of questionable quality from a burger van and some very watery tea, but not so now. So, Whilton Mill, a trailblazer. Roger and Sarah Ashby, thank you for everything you've done for our sport.
Another great piece there from Mr. Baudet. More from him later, and he's absolutely right. This is a great place with his cup of coffee to watch a race. Now, that was yesteryear. That's what Whilton Mill used to look like and how it came into being. Let's get a little bit closer into what it's racing like right now. We were here earlier in the year for Event 2. The track is still the same, but it's a very different set of conditions here this weekend, as we found out on our track walk on Friday.
Event 7 sees us returning here to Whilton Mill. Last time we got some insight on the track with some drivers. This time we're going to get some more with the Rotax drivers here with us this weekend.
Caden Hanley, we're here at turn 2 for the start of our discussions of Whilton Mill today. Tell me all about this corner.
Very smooth corner. It's one of the fastest corners in the track, and you got to hit your apex.
And this curb on the inside, do we take a lot of this curb, or do we just kind of like tickle it a little bit?
Not even touch it.
Not even touch it.
Right next to that white line.
I say we've got a bit of a rough curb here that can kind of bounce you off, can't
It won't
you?
slow you down too much.
Now, the other thing I'm noticing just under our feet, Caden, there's a lot of grip here this week, and what do you make of that?
It's very grippy, and you want to be nice and smooth with the steering wheel.
Particularly up the hill as well. This is one of the fastest. Is this one of your favourite corners? If so, why?
Yeah, it's a very good overtaking corner.
And how much speed do you reckon you want to take through here?
A lot.
A lot of speed up to Christmas Corner. We've seen Christmas Corner earlier on in the season, as well as Ashby Corner. Let's head a little bit further onto the lap to Wilkins. We're here with Alex Shepherd. Alex, we're on the entrance to Wilkins Corner. We're drifting over to the right because this is actually a really important piece of tarmac, even though it's strictly not as part of the layout we're using this weekend.
Yeah, well, we've got to use it to maximise the track that we're able to use to carry as much speed as possible to the corner. It's really like, and also where the second bit here is a good point to know to turn, so you can get the maximum amount of speed carried and just overall where to get the power on earlier. So it's good indicators on the track showing you where to do everything.
And we do sometimes, it's not the biggest overtaking corner on the circuit, but we do sometimes see a little bit of 2 wide, even 3 wide if something's been going on at Ashby.
Yeah.
But from my experience of driving through this corner, it's the exit that you almost want to be worried about, isn't it? Because it's one of those that comes up on you really, really quickly as you go through this left-hander.
Well, you've got to just make sure you get round and have a nice exit through the corner so that you can set up yourself for the next corner, because that's a really crucial overtaking point. But if you can see where all the marks are, you can just see where the line is abused to get the maximum out of the tyre on the track, so they can set themselves up for the next corner.
And there's this curb on driver's right as well that can catch the unwary out. You know, you don't really want to be anywhere near this. You definitely don't want to be going over the far side of it, because it really unsettles the kart, doesn't it, as you're heading then towards Osiers?
Yeah, as you can see, people do use the end of it, but it's just there really. Like, you don't have to use it. It isn't a big deal if you do use the end of it. It's just if you use a little bit too much, you can then drift off and have a bit of an unsettled track really.
Absolutely. So there you have it. That's a left-hander that on a map looks very, very simple indeed, but it's one of the trickiest corners here on the circuit. We looked at Osiers last time at Event 2. Let's go a little bit further onto the lap and to Kiel, who's through the newer sections of the boot.
Joining me here at the first part of the boot is Victor Hansen from Senior Rotax. Victor, you have won a club championship here last year and you're doing well in it this year again. Talk us through this first part of the boot.
Well, this first part of the boot's quite interesting really, because obviously you've got the first curb over there, and if you get a good run from the first curb over there, you can almost send in a move here sometimes. It's quite risky, but now we're getting to the last stage of the season in the British Kart Championship. Some people might be willing to take that risk just to get a gap. So, yeah, we'll see if anything happens at this corner this weekend. So that'll be interesting.
Exactly. Do you think drivers will need that at this stage of the season, those bold moves?
I believe so, yeah. It's what makes a champion, isn't it, really? If you're able to do a move in a risky area and pull it off and get a gap, it's worth it at the end of the day. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone's willing to take that risk. See, it can decide who's champion, really, can't it?
We're now here at the second part of the boot, the final chicane. Talk us through this one, because last time the championship saw this, or we focused on this corner, this curb was a lot higher.
Yeah, well, they've shaved the curb down now, which is kind of helpful for a lot of people, seen as I'm pretty sure many chassis were bent on that curb. So now they've sorted that out, it's a lot better, and probably a lot of money saved for drivers, which is very helpful.
Thank you very much for the insight. Let's go back to Andrew.
Thanks, Keel. Well, there you have it. That is your latest track walk here at Whilton Mill. A track that many of the drivers here this weekend know very well indeed. But here, at the end of the summer of 2026, with the grip levels on the surface, there's quite a few surprises in store here for the Rotax categories.
I always love our track walks, Andrew, but is, like you said, those track conditions going to change how the drivers race here? We'll find out at 9 o'clock. Before that, though, here's a quick word from Wera Tools. Thank you once again to Wera Tools. Let's get into our preview of classes though, starting with Senior Rotax. Two rather new names to the championship, Finley Jones and Liam at Kim Racing. Finley Jones had his debut with us at Kimbolton, did a good job, followed it up with a top 10 in Kart Masters. We heard from him earlier on this weekend.
Finley Jones, welcome back to Whilton Mill, here for another round of the British Kart Championships. Let's start at Kimbolton. That was your first appearance in the championship in recent times. A really good run for yourself and for Liam Atkin Racing.
Yeah, I think as a small team you can only ask for so much, but we definitely piled on the pressure of the big boys. Heat win, sort of the main highlight of the weekend, but we should have come home with a bit of a stronger result if it wasn't for the slow procedure at the end, which sort of threw us back in the chaos. But to be honest, really happy, couldn't have asked for too much more.
And a top 10 last week at the Grand Prix at Kart Masters, you must have been really proud about that.
Yeah, definitely. Last year we finished 18th, so you see the step, from 18th to 10th. A polling group in qualifying, so again, lots of promise, lots of pace. It's just what we need to keep doing, pushing forward.
Tell us a little bit about your story and your dad's story as well, working on the kart, because unlike a lot of the drivers in the paddock, you didn't start when you were 7 years old. You started a little bit later on in life.
Yeah, quite the opposite. So I had my first test with Pro Chain at 14, on my 14th birthday. I turned 18 last month. So a lot of drivers will be starting 8, some maybe 5 even in Bambinos, but we started in juniors. So it really is quite a contrast. And my dad learnt at the exact same point, so we've built together, we've done everything together, and he is sort of the main reason that I'm here, both financially, work rate, all of the above that I can look up to him for.
And tell us a bit about Liam Atkin Racing as a team as well. It's one of the newer names amongst your Dan Hollands, your Strawberries, your KR Sports, still in its first year. How did that relationship with yourself and Liam Atkin Racing come about?
Yeah, so we switched to be a privateer sort of early this year-ish. Liam picks us up and sort of we're like, oh, where's this going to go? We're sort of questioning, can we do it on our own? Maybe not, but Liam's proved to us that he knows far more than what we do. and it's really shown in the results. You know, the team's been going for 10 months-ish, and to be fighting at the front of all these big events is really what we want, and to be able to grow the team, it's the ultimate goal. Get more drivers in, more data, you know, less struggle as a single driver team in these big events at the moment.
Now it's another championship round this weekend, the penultimate meeting for all the Rotax categories, but something a little bit different for this weekend is the E-Plate, this being the first of a double race meeting mini championship, as it were, for the E-Plate. You're going to be with us here and at Silverstone. Have you got your eye on that E-Plate? Do you reckon you've got a shot at that one?
Ooh, it's far away, I think, but there's a glimmer of hope there for it. You know, you can't come into an event thinking, oh, I'm not going to do too well, and this. It's something that we can definitely push for, try and achieve, but ultimately it's a little bit far away at the moment, but we'll see what we can do.
Oh, we'll see what you can do as well from the comms box. Finley, thanks for your time and best of luck for this weekend.
It's good to hear that from a driver who came into this sport and this championship as a young man, and we'll see how he gets on this weekend. However, let's stick with senior Rotax, because 2 years ago here was one of the most viral moments in karting and for Alpha Live. You saw it, we saw it. Let's see it again with Macaulay Bishop.
Macaulay Bishop, thanks for joining us, thanks for your time. Let's go back to 2024 at a place that's very special for you. You did a lot of your club racing here. You just won the Junior Rotax British Championship. You've done pretty much everything at the junior level of the game. You've stepped up into the seniors. Going into that O-Plate weekend, do you think there was an element of the other drivers looking at you as the new kid on the block and needing to spend a bit of time working your way up?
There was definitely a little bit of that. Obviously, all the senior drivers they was looking at me from the year before. Obviously, I won both the junior titles, so there was no doubt that I would be fast when I moved up. But I was kind of surprised myself how quick I was. Obviously, I moved straight up and I was straight on the pace. No complaints really, and it was really strong for the first couple of races. I don't think anyone really expected it. And it was really good.
If I remember correctly, the lead up into that final, you weren't that far up the grid for that final, so we were kind of thinking, oh, he's there, we'll see how he gets on. But were you expecting to get in amongst the top 5 in that race on that day? I want to say, was it starting about 18th or something like that?
Yeah, so I picked up a bad set of tyres for qualifying, and then we have to use the same set of tyres the whole race meeting, so I didn't have the best starting position for the final. And also halfway through the race, it sort of kind of slipped away from me, but I kept belief, and I picked them off one by one, and then eventually I made the move for the lead, and yeah, I managed to keep on to it.
Let's get into the move then. You've cut your way through, you're up to 3rd place, you've got Matty Higgins and Lewis Gilbert ahead of you. I think Kai was already out of the race at this point. There'd already been a lot of drama. You're heading up the hill, you're out of the crook. What's going through your mind at that point as you see Matty and Lewis pull to driver's right?
I don't really remember too much, but I was focused on getting past them. I wasn't focused on staying behind them for another corner. I saw that they darted to the inside, and I just used the rest of the track really, and just broke late, went in hard, and sent it around the outside. So, and it's no one's going to forget the move anymore. I pretty much got a move named after myself. So,
I was going to say, it's quite often a thing when we do see a move up there. We've seen it once already this season in these championships, that people look to replicate that move. Do people ask you about the move even now, 2.5 years later?
They asked me a little bit. Obviously, it was a lot worse when it just first happened. So 2024 and also a little bit of 2025 my phone was definitely blowing up a lot. But it was good to see the support from everyone, and everyone was pretty surprised, just the same as me, really. Because
that's one of the things that moment really went viral. I think it's something like 4.5 million views across all the various different platforms. I know for Alpha Live, one of their most viewed races of the week, and all of that. What was that like, dealing with that as well, and that kind of newfound attention?
I mean, obviously it was a very good race, and I was very happy after it. And then, like you said, you guys posted a video and it just took off. Obviously I saw it, reposted it, liked everything, and then I checked back 3 days later, and it's 3.5 million views. I'm thinking, wow. And yeah, it really just took me from a big name in the UK to more of a big name around the world. So it's definitely helped me get opportunities and things for the future as well.
I'd say since then, British Championships, Grand Finals champion. How much do you think that moment at that O-Plate influenced everything that came afterwards and even into today?
It was important that we caught it on the video because you didn't really see much of me through the race. You didn't see how much I was fighting for each position. And then obviously it gave me good exposure as well. So, yeah.
Going into this weekend, we always have to talk about it a little bit when we come back to this place. You're looking good. Practice went well earlier on today. Do you think you could do something similarly spectacular this weekend?
I mean, we'll have to read the race. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't think anyone will let me do the same thing to them again. I think they'd rather really willing to crash than to be posted on social media again. So, yeah.
And last question, in terms of the championship this year, you've got a slight thorn in the side of a certain Mr. Lloyd, looking pretty quick so far this season. But this is a good circuit for you. You know, and everything for Silverstone is a little bit unknown because we've never been there. Do you reckon you can still take the title this year?
I mean, it's not just one driver. Obviously, Freddie Lloyd's very quick, so is Matty Hingley, and so is myself. So there's a good 3 or 4 of us that can definitely take the championship. It's just I've just had unlucky moments this year. Yeah, qualifying at Warden Law and starting last in the heats just didn't help. And obviously, like when you have a bad qualifying, it just sort of just sets the tone for the whole weekend. And then obviously the other rounds, we had some good points, but the whole weekend as a whole, it hasn't been great, you know. So that's what we're searching for this weekend.
Absolutely. Macaulay, thanks for your time. Best of luck this weekend. Let's have a look at that big moment once again from 2024.
For the last 2 years will not continue to 3, and it's 1, 2, 3 clear of the field. Gilbert defends the outside,
Bishop
around
round
the outside.
That
That
is
outrageous.
me!
The junior champion from last year has done thousands of overtakes round Whilton.
Well, there you go. That is it. The most viral move that we've seen in recent years in the British Kart Championships. Could we see another one here this weekend?
Indeed, Andrew, and we've already seen one like that back at Event 2. If we talk more recent successes though, Kart Masters, we've got drivers running their brand new GP plates. One of them being Mini-Max driver Jackson Hilton. Let's hear from him.
Here we are with the latest GP plate winner, Jackson Hilton. Jackson, first of all, has it sunk in yet that you won last week at Kart Masters?
Not really, not yet.
Tell us about the story. What was last week like?
I mean, it was good. Obviously, when I come off, I was still in a bit of a shock, so I didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, it was good.
Tell us about the team and what they've done with you and with the chassis and the engines.
Yeah, it's good. Like, this Hunters was actually my first team when I first started, so obviously coming back, it's just like, obviously I already know everyone in here, so I'm just fitting good. The power's good, everything's really good.
And also mentioning that Kai himself, you know, he's won a few GP plates in his day, British Championships as well. You've got your first GP plate. Are you going to be after his record now?
Yeah.
They take the next couple of years to do that. Let's talk about this weekend. Now you're back into British Championship form. Does last week's result, does that kind of change how you think about this new race at Whilton?
Yeah, I feel a bit more confident. I feel like I've got a bit more pace, obviously, to get in the top 3 and win it.
Now, I want to ask about your helmet, because it's one of my favourite designs on the grid. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, obviously, got the Jamaican in there with the wood bar in the back of it. Obviously, because from my dad's side, obviously Jamaican, so that's just something that they say.
So we're very much hoping for anyone watching in Jamaica that they're going to be supporting you for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
E-plate this weekend and for the next weekend at Silverstone as well. Potentially a ticket to the Grand Finals. How much would it mean to win that?
Yeah, it'll be very big. I mean, I really do want to go to Grand Finals because I feel like I have a good chance.
Fantastic. Well, Jackson, well done once again. Brilliant win last week at Kart Masters, and best of luck for this weekend here at Whilton.
Good to hear once again from Jackson Hilton. The question is, will that weekend kickstart a good end to his year with now those E-plates on the line? We're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from Demon Tweaks. We'll see you shortly.
Here at Demon Tweaks, you probably know us for our massive cartwear range. We've got everything from suits, boots, gloves and helmets from the biggest brands in the business. But we are so much more than that, because if you're looking for kart parts, well, we've got you covered too. We've got everything from Rotax parts, sprockets and chains, discs and pads, data loggers and dashers, fuel tanks, steering wheels, bead breakers, and loads more. But of course, it doesn't just stop at the track, and if you're looking to build your skills in the sim, then we've got everything you're gonna need to build the ultimate rig. So whether you're just getting started or you're already at the top of your game, Demon Tweaks has got you.
Thanks again there to Demon Tweaks, and welcome back to the build-up show here at Event 7 for the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Now, what does it take here at Whilton Mill at the end of the summer to put a quick lap together? We saw one from Will Archer.
We're here in the race centre. You know the drill. It's time for our on-board lap. This week, we've got Will Archer from the KR Sport team with us. Will, this is our Rotax visit to Whilton Mill. Talk us through a lap. It's different to when we were here with the other half of the championships for event number 2. Talk us through the first half.
So obviously, first few corners, very fast corners, open it up as much, very fast. We need a good run up to Christmas, so we need to get these few corners perfect. Over the curb, keeping it left before going right, using a lot of track to carry as much speed up to Christmas. Very hard braking zone. Want to carry a lot of speed, but also we need to get it not going too hard.
This next section, as you come through and down, I'm just wondering with the grip levels, particularly as we go down into Ashby Corner, are we going to see a lot more overtaking through this part of the circuit if there's more grip on the inside this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the last few flowing corners, easy to get up to someone through the slipstream, and going into Ashby, very obviously easy enough overtaking spot because it's a wide ride, quite wide through here. Hard braking spot, so I think we should see some overtakes into here.
After Ashby, you've got these two left-handers coming up, Wilkins, Osiers. These again are quite key overtaking areas, aren't they?
Yeah. If you get that first left-right, this second left's definitely a lot easier to overtake, but they're very flowing, so sometimes can be a bit tricky.
Now, this particular lap, this was from your practice session. We've got Oliver Liversidge right ahead of us. An area we've talked about at length in recent visits to Whilton Mill is the boot.
Yeah.
The boot is trickier, isn't it, than it used to be since the new chicane came in. I'm interested to know, when you're in this situation, you've got a driver right ahead of you, and you've probably got a little bit more speed on this lap. How do you deal with that as a situation?
Yeah, obviously, there's not really any overtaking opportunities now through the rest of the lap, but you just got to try even just staying on the driver ahead, not making any mistakes, and try not to bump watch too much. Just look at the apex and try to make it as the best lap you can when you have someone ahead of you.
And then the flow off the final corner, still that right-hander, so key to make sure that you get a good run onto the next lap.
Yeah, obviously, if that last little chicane is very hard to get right, but when you get it right, normally it's a good lap, and it also leads on to another good lap, because that coming out, if you get a good run out at that last corner, the next few corners are crucial, and then up to Christmas, it's all pretty much a fast-flowing section of the track, so yeah.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck for this weekend. Thanks for your time.
Very much.
Thank you for that, Andrew. We'll see how Will can put that practice into play very shortly. Of course, racing starts here at 9 a.m. Before that, though, let's talk E10.
Yes, indeed. So today we will see the crowning of the inaugural E10 Cadet Cup champion as part of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. But let's have a bit of a challenge. Let's forget about one driver for an interview. How about 10 drivers all at once in one interview? Keel caught up earlier in the weekend with the E10 drivers.
Our E10 cadet class is back with us here at Whilton Mill. We've got the whole grid right here. Introduce yourselves.
Zach Andrew,
Ansel Murray,
Leo Hartley,
Cara Zubaida,
Jamal Pomeran,
Stanley Gale,
Arthur Thompson,
Caleb Hiles,
Arthur Harrington.
And last but not least,
Buddy Hugo,
all right, favourite kart track, please?
Ray House,
Whilton Mill.
Shenington,
PFI, Silverstone,
PFI,
Monaco,
Silverstone.
Kim Bolton.
Now it's Friday practice here at Whilton Mill. What overtakes are we going to see from you this weekend?
A dive bomb,
Nay Breaks,
dive bomb,
all of them,
round the outside,
Switchback,
Dive bomb.
dive bomb,
A lot of dive bombs.
Dive bomb.
wherever there's a gap.
All right, favourite Formula One team, one more time, back down the order.
I really like Haas,
McLaren. Mercedes.
McLaren.
McLaren.
Oh, a theme?
Red Bull. Mercedes and Ferrari. McLaren.
There's some insight from our E10 cadet class drivers. Who's going to be on the podium this weekend?
Yay!
I love the enthusiasm of the 10 drivers in that segment. Since then, we've actually been joined by an 11th driver. Heath Smith wasn't with us on Friday. He got involved in the action on Saturday. He was looking really quick, in fact. We'll see the E10s again when they're out on circuit for both of their heats in the early part of the day, and then their final later on this afternoon. Right, another part of being part of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships is talking to us lot, talking to the media, getting involved, telling us the stories that are going out there on track. Sometimes you need a little bit of help with that. It's a bit scary, isn't it? Well, on hand here this weekend are Chris McCarthy and Neil Cole, part of the Purple Sectors team. Great to have them back in the paddock. We had them at Kimbolton last year. They've been giving some of the drivers some media training here this weekend. But what is Purple Sectors? What's it about? Keol, you caught up with Chris and the team to find out more.
Joining us here this weekend at Whilton Mill is Chris McCarthy and the team over at Purple Sectors. Chris, we all know you in the paddock, but for someone who may not, can you introduce yourself and what you're doing here today?
Yeah, so I'm the lead commentator for Formula 2 and Formula 3 and also the English commentator for 24 Hour Le Mans. But I also, away from commentating, have set up Purple Sectors. We are an organisation which are trying to bring people back into the sport who can no longer race due to the fact that they've been diagnosed with epilepsy, something that happened to me. I managed to stay in it through commentary, so we're trying to do the same for other people. And we've got 2 drivers with us today, one of them coming back into the paddock for the first time, Wilf, along with Ollie. And while we're here, Neil Cole is going to be doing free media training for the paddock, so it's going to be a really good day.
It's great to have you guys here with us. We're going to learn more about Chris McCarthy and Purple Sectors as we go around with them for the day. Now, Chris, let's talk where you fit in with Purple Sectors. Of course, it's a charity that's very close to your heart, hence why you found it. Talk to us more about your journey.
Yeah, actually here at Whilton Mill has a big part of my journey. I began racing here in 2008, and then I had to subsequently stop racing here in 2012 in August because I had a seizure over on the exit of the boot, actually, which is right in my line of vision. But then to stay in the sport, I started filming races here as part of coursework for my college, and then that turned into a bit of a small business where we'd come down with college mates and film the club races. My races never got filmed, so I always thought it'd be so cool to see others get filmed, and so that's what I did. And then I started live commentary here when I finished college as well. That was one of my first jobs, which then led me to do Kart Masters. So it has a big part of my journey. I always love coming back, and I still host the awards for the club here every year, their end of season awards, which is always really good fun.
And it's nice to see how much this track means to you. Coming back now, being in a completely different position, you've of course been through that, the disappointment of having to not race anymore. You then found your new career within this track. What's it like now, kind of inspiring the next generation being back today?
Yeah, I always say my epilepsy was a blessing in disguise, really, because it led me into this whole career, which has been absolutely fantastic. But I was always very quiet about my epilepsy, didn't really like telling people. And then the first time I went round a paddock, actually with a charity T-shirt on, I was getting asked so many questions. I got such a good response from the paddock when I first posted online about the fact I had epilepsy. And so with that, I just wanted to try and get other people to come out of their shell, if you like, people that have epilepsy, because it's nothing to be embarrassed about, and there's lots of help out there. So I know how it feels to lose your race license because of epilepsy, but I know that there's another career out there as well. So that's what I want to try and do for the next generation now, is try and get them to talk more about it and come and work in the paddock, because there's so many opportunities here.
Yes, and that's exactly what you're doing with the 2 boys here today. But it's not only the 2 people that have been in the same position of you, it's the rest of your team here today as well. We've got media training with some drivers happening shortly. Let's move along though, because time's ticking and we've got to spend the rest of the day with Purple Sectors. Now I know we've touched on the people you have here with you today, Chris, but these two drivers here in the McLaren tops are the perfect example of people that you're now helping, because when you maybe discovered that you had epilepsy, this wasn't a position that you were in to have kind of a community around you.
Yeah, exactly right. Nothing like this existed when I was diagnosed, so I didn't really know where to go. So we're showing Ollie and Wilf with us here today that there's different areas to the sport that they can go and seek careers in, even though the racing isn't working out for them. So, and we are, you're precisely right, we are trying to build a community within the sport that didn't exist a few years ago, and it's becoming very strong already in its third year, so it's really great. And we've also now got our first Purple Sectors ambassador as well, which is a GB4 race winner, Connor Willis, who's here with the drivers today. And that's another thing we're trying to do to really fly the flag both on and off the track, and that's now a new thing that we've launched for this year. So it's really great to have everyone here, and the community is here behind us.
And what you're now seeing is not only drivers that have been in the same position as you, but now you're seeing drivers advocate for you and teams with all the work that you're doing. Is that nice to see it kind of pay off?
Yeah, it really is. Having Connor is so great. There's going to be more Purple Sectors ambassadors, so keep posted for that. But it's just great to have a community within the sport. It's becoming so strong, and we just want to keep building on that now going forward. And the event we have on the 10th of November will be another big chance to bring everyone together and kind of had a celebration for the end of the season, but also celebrate what we're doing and have a really fun evening.
That's right. We'll touch on that event later, but the team here at Purple Sectors have media duties to get to. We'll see you there. Now, we're here at a Purple Sectors media session with Neil Cole here in the background. We've got some very familiar faces with us that are racing this weekend, like Finlay Lyons and Emerson McAndrew-Uren. It's great to have you guys here. It's a good opportunity for the drivers to get some more practice, really. But can you explain what he's really doing back there?
Yes, our second year doing this. Neil Cole is one of the co-hosts of Purple Sectors with myself and Jenny Gow. He's also the host of the FIA Awards, which is the biggest awards evening in motorsport. So he knows how to be comfortable in front of camera. He's a professional at teaching drivers to do that and broadcasters as well. He actually taught me how to be a presenter. So it's very valuable for the drivers to get a free media session with him this weekend. And also it shows that Purple Sectors, we're not just helping people with epilepsy, we're trying to help the whole paddock as well by doing things like this. So we plan to continue doing this and grow it going forwards.
Thank you, Chris. Before we move along, let's see more of what he's doing.
You transition to the message that you want to get across. So you've got something, you've got a story to tell. So it's like, yes, but this happened, and then at the end of it, something really positive. So whether the interview's been positive or negative, whether your experience has been positive or negative, at the end of it, the sell is, but I love the British Kart Championships and I can't wait to get back out on track later on with my amazing kart and my team here at Whilton Mill. So what is it again? A, answer. T, transition. And give me an example of some transition words. However, but, brilliant. Any more? Because, the thing is.
Thank you, Chris, and the team for joining us here today and giving the drivers some education on the media. If people want to hear more, learn more about you guys, where can they find you?
Yep, you can find us at Setting Purple Sectors on the social media channels. We've now also got a website, gopurple.org.uk, and make sure you join us 10th of November, Simply Race in Milton Keynes, where we will be racing for a reason. You can come and have a lot of fun and make a big difference at the same time, so we'd really appreciate your support.
That's right, we hope to see you there.
Really superb to hear there from both Neil, or seeing Neil in action, and hear from Chris as well. For Chris, it's really coming full circle this weekend. This is where he raced. As we found out, this is where he started his now commentary career, and a great effort there showing that being in motorsport is not just about being on track. There are so many roles to get involved with in this fantastic sport. Right, let's pass to a newer driver. We talked earlier about drivers who made their breakthroughs at Kimbolton. Another one was in Micromax, Kaya Vieira on the podium at the first time of asking a month ago. Can he continue that form into this weekend here at Whilton Mill? We caught up with him earlier on in the weekend.
I'm here in the Evolution awning catching up with rookie for Micromax, Kaya Vieira. Kaya, it's good to have you here at the British Kart Championships. Now, you're new as of Kimbolton. Tell us how it's been joining.
I've really been enjoying British Kart Champs. I think that it's a very big honour to be here. When I was a kid, I used to watch it all the time and always want to participate.
Now, your first ever event with us was Kimbolton. You'd never actually been there before, but you put it on the podium. Was that something that you were expecting?
Not at all. I was expecting to be further down the pack, but it was quite a nice surprise to be at the front.
Following on from that, Kart Masters, you also got a podium at Kart Masters. How did those events kind of differ? Because especially for a young driver like that, you're a rookie into this championship. You did well at both events. How do they differ from each other?
I think that Kart Masters was slightly easier and more expected, as I've been there for a couple more times than Kimbolton, and I've been quick there before.
Well, back for another event of the British Kart Championships then, here at Whilton Mill. What do you think of Whilton Mill?
I personally really like Whilton Mill. It's close to my home, so we come here quite a lot, and it's very nice to be also towards the front and British here as well.
A local track for you. Do you think you can convert those podiums into a win this weekend?
Hopefully. We've had good momentum, so hopefully we can carry it on and hopefully win here.
How have you fueled for this weekend? What have you prepped in between here and Kart Masters?
We have got a new chassis, but that's kind of basically it.
And Netflix and eggs by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kaya. Best of luck.
We'll see later on today whether Kaya Wera can do it again, get on the podium here at Whilton Mill. Racing not too far away. We're going to take another short break after this advert from Kart Sim.
Wera, what a start from the start, heading up into the top section.
Thank you once again to Kart Sim. Let's think back though to Kimbolton. One driver who seems to be on a really good run at this point in his season is Lenny Barton. You, the public, voted for him as driver of the day. Let's hear what he had to say.
We're here with Lenny Barton. Lenny, let's go back to Kimbolton, the last time the Rotax classes raced. Tell us a little bit about your weekend.
Yeah, really good weekend. Made 8 places in superheat. But yeah, good weekend.
I say that heat win that you got, that was one of your best drives of the whole season so far. Tell us what it was like racing it in that one, particularly because it was a really hot weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the tent, just keep cool, and in the race, just when you do the moves, you've got to when you do it, you've got to finish it. But yeah.
And racing with Strawberry as well is such a big team, isn't it? Have they been a big help to you this year?
Yeah, really big help.
And you're our Wera Tools Driver of the Day. That's an award voted by the public as well. How does it feel that the public have chosen you as the Driver of the Day from that race?
Yeah, really happy. Never got Driver of the Day at like a national thing before, but yeah.
Who would you like to thank for this award?
The whole team. The whole Strawberry team, my manager Cal, and Horizon and D&D Carpentry.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I'll introduce Keol in to present to you with the award. Lenny Barton, our Wera Tools Driver of the Day from Kimbolton.
Big well done there to Lenny Barton. It's not long now until we see how he gets on today.
Absolutely. We're going to stick with the themes of Micromax and award winners. We've talked about our driver of the day. Let's go across to the Wera Tools Excellence Award. Now, the winner from Kimbolton has been on the tools for every single event so far this season, helping out one of our newest and youngest drivers in the paddock, Arthur Bowers. We caught up with him earlier on this weekend. Here he is, your Wera Tools Excellence Award winner, Joe Bleakley.
We're here in the race centre with our Excellence Award winner from Kimbolton, Arthur Bowers mechanic, Joe Bleakley. Joe, we've also seen you as a driver. What was the transition like for you into mechanicking?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the driving in the British Kart Championships, the little amount that I did. But yeah, the transition into mechanicking has been very good for me. I've been working with KR Sport for 6 years now, since being a driver. And I really enjoy my job and working with the future talents like Arthur. So yeah, can't complain.
Like you said, we've seen you in this position for years now. Arthur is the youngest driver that you've worked with to date. What's it like kind of nurturing the talent right from the start?
Yeah, it's good. It requires sometimes a lot of patience and to build on his consistency and things like that, which comes with natural age and maturity. But his raw speed and natural talent's good enough for him to get there. definitely.
And it must be nice to get the recognition from the team here at Motorsport UK to win all these Wera tools.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, thank you, whoever nominated me. I think I know who it is. I think it might have been Arthur's mum, and she knows I'm not, I think she's done a bit of a stitch up for me to be on the camera doing this. But yeah, I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We hope you two have a great weekend.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Hope so.
Well done to Joe. I'm sure those new Wera tools will be put to very good use indeed. One more class to go before we go racing at 9 o'clock. It is, of course, Junior Rotax. Now, a number of the drivers in this class were here 2 weeks ago for the club round, getting a little bit of extra practice in. On top of the pile 2 Sundays ago was Blake Southern. He's been on a tremendous run so far this season, getting better and better every time. Before the racing here at Whilton Mill, we caught up with him.
I'm here in the DHR awning, catching up with Blake Southern for Junior Rotax. Blake, you're a good example of karting pathways. Just a couple of years ago, you were doing arrive and drive karting. Can you explain to us how you've come up to a national level over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so I started off with like normal arrive and drive, like Daytona. Then we went to Club 100, and then we joined Jack Decks in 2024. We started with Club 100 and really like pushed for that, and just introduced myself into owners originally. Then last year in 25, we went all out in like the club championships like PF, Wilton, Kimbolton, Shannington. Then we won Kimbolton and Wilton. So we really did well in the 2 others. So yeah.
Speaking of club championships, you were here just a couple of weeks ago for the Whilton Mill Kart Club Championship and you won. Do you think that win is going to help you prep for this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Like help me learn the track. Not like I already know it, but just help with the track conditions and if anything's changed.
This is also a local one for you. Do you think with your previous club experience and everything involved, do you think this could be your first podium this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Trying to go for the win as well.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Good to hear from Blake there. Seems in very good form heading into today's finals. But that's enough talk. Let's get into the business of racing. It's another big day in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Event 7 Super Heats are up next.